Hey, I'm Jacob. Welcome to Test Guy TV. If you follow our space, you know this is deferral season. There's a lot going on, a ton of early decision deferrals. Now, the high end public schools are deferring a ton. Deferrals are way up. And if you're one of those students who have been deferred, or your child has, you're trying to strategize how to get from this literally feels like purgatory to, we'll call it admissions heaven. So I want to go through what deferrals are, your odds, why there are so many deferrals, and what you can do. We're going to split this into a few videos. Now, deferrals have always been part of a two-stage admissions process. Two-stage meaning early action and or decision. And in the second round is regular decision. Deferral only happens when you apply early action or decision. It is not the same as a wait list. By the way, never bank on a wait list. They have abysmal acceptance rates. Deferral means that your application is just in the general pool with the second round now. It's going to be reconsidered from scratch. So your first question has got to be, what are the odds? The likelihood of getting in from a deferral varies from reasonably high to very low. It's contingent on a lot of factors. You, the university, what they perceive their needs are, how they perceive you, and who else is applying. Some people are closer to in than others, but you will have no objective idea for yourself. Even a guy like me who knows what they're doing doesn't have great insight. It's incredibly situational, and it depends not only on your application, but who else applied. And some colleges defer a ton. Georgetown and Notre Dame, for example. And I don't think, and this is the common accusation, that they look at many in the second round. Many colleges may defer more than they intend to look at. It can keep their early admission statistic higher, depending on how they count, and their regular decision stat lower. That's a desirable thing. That's why they would do it. Now, some schools may do a little bit of that too, but they defer a reasonable number of people, Duke and MIT, for example. And that's like a 5 to 10% acceptance rate. That's not bad if you look at their overall acceptance rate. So it's really tough to tell. Year 2 of COVID, test optional, what everything looks like. There's so much volatility in the strength of applicants, number of applicants, and the needs of colleges. But whatever number is out there, if you do your best, you are going to have a way better shot than that number. Significantly better, I promise you. It is a pure waste not to do your best on whatever deferral documentation they give you. We're going to explain why the odds are better and what your strategy should be tomorrow. Second question, why are there more deferrals now? The thing that no one talks about, but everyone knows, is that the more students who apply, the lower the acceptance rate. Elite colleges admit a pretty fixed amount of students year over year. So when more apply, more get rejected. Yeah, we know that, but follow it through. When acceptance rates drop, it changes behavior. Students and parents respond by applying to more colleges. For example, you might apply to 5 colleges if there's an average acceptance rate of 50%. You might apply to 8 if it's 30%. We ran a TikTok survey this week. 700 responses, 80% of students said they're applying to more colleges than they would if rates weren't lower. Now, this is not a scientific poll. It's self-selecting sample. There's 100 things wrong with it, but the phenomenon is real. Let me restate it. More applications, lower acceptance rates. Lower acceptance rates cause people to apply to more colleges. It's a self-reinforcing cycle. Now, below is a graph of Harvard early action applications over the last 10 or so years. Notice the number they take is increased by a couple hundred, and the number applying is increased enormously. And that's just not good for an individual applicant. No way, no how. But how do the colleges feel? It would seem to be a good thing, right? On the colleges side, increased applications are both a gift and a curse. Every selective college wants their acceptance rates to be low in regular decision and attainable in early decision. So more apps is a good thing. And you think, wait a minute, that's a lot more choice, right? I mean, you have that many more applicants. And I'm sure there are some amazing applicants that wouldn't have applied in a test required world. And I think test optional is great at a lot of levels. And I'm sure every college will say it's a net positive, and it may be, but the average strength of applicants may be a lot weaker, and things like the test may have saved them from a slew of applications that they didn't really want. So more choice equals a lot more work. And just because applications have grown exponentially doesn't mean staffs have. Students applying to more colleges, rapid social change, economic uncertainty, changes in schooling and testing make it tougher to know which students you'll actually get and where they're actually at. And colleges want to get who they admit. It's called yield. That's one reason for deferrals. It's highly likely that some state schools, the really selective ones like Michigan, are taking more out of state kids in the first round. That gives them a few months, a window to market to those admits to improve that out of state yield, trusting that their in state crowd will go. Maybe they lose 5 or 7 or 10%, whether they take them in the first or second round. But all that calculus aside, there's one super non-qualified, straight in the black positive. More numbers and an extra vet for dedication. More information to make the big choice. And that helps them make big cuts. In a system where you're saying yes to one student for every 10 you're saying no to, that's strongly desirable. So by deferring students, colleges give themselves 2 cuts. A dedication cut, will you fill out the form and write an appropriate letter? And do a good job, because if you don't, you won't get in. The second one is number-wise. Think about it. What are junior year grades worth in a lot of places? Maybe 65% of these applicants at these schools have test scores. Fall, everybody's been back to school. And so some deferrals have always been a way to answer academic uncertainty. How will the kid do when they don't think anyone is watching? Now, this may have mutated in an environment where fall grades can be a huge quantitative cut. 2 big cuts. Our other video is going to get more into that. Now, we can't pick the time we're a high school senior or where our child is. Regardless of the school or the invisible reason or your stats or anything else, do your best on the deferral materials. I can see kids come off of lists of the best schools in this country, the hardest ones to get into every single year. I'm making another video, which will be up tomorrow, about what to do with deferrals. There are things you can do to get you in. And spoiler alert, well, it's not a spoiler, I already said it. Your odds are better than the stats would indicate. Hey, thanks for watching. Have a great day.